Thunder and lightning. How we doing? Get him up? Aha! Look at this. Now we've got like wherever the camera's got something to look at everywhere we go. All right.
The World Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2024. Whether on the sands or watching the action from your screen, WBUCC 2024 is a tournament not to be missed.
Work is almost over, summer's getting closer. No time to be sober, sunshine on my shoulders. I'm alive and breathing, living my best life. Love is on my mind and it's making it high.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to ULTI.TV's coverage of EBUCC, the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2023. In the mixed division, we have Margarita mixed from Ireland and Solklar from Sweden, Benji Rees and Stef Pazzo. Hello, or welcome to our coverage. Both sides just going through their final team talks, huddles. We've got Margarita mixed in purple. It looks like the orange jerseys for the nominal Swedes.
It is indeed the orange jerseys for the nominal Swedes. It is the bluish purple tank tops for Margarita
Lavender,
mixed. Pardon me?
Lavender, maybe?
It's a dark lavender, but yeah, we'll go lavender, Benj.
Oh, it's because I was wearing sunglasses. There we go.
Yeah, you get your blue blockers on, so you're blocking 3/4 the shade there. But yes, obviously both these teams very natural to the countries that have been assigned to them. The Irish, are they really Irish? The Swedes, are they really? Well, I'm not too sure. But either way, they both hail from those two countries, registered through those two federations. But a young up-and-coming team from Stockholm, where they base out of, a lot of add-ons there, and a star-studded short roster from Margarita Mixed. And we're underway with the first pole bench.
Alexandrova with the pull. First pass for Margarita goes from Pelican to Rogers. Now here's Castillo. Rogers, the lefty, floating that one up. It's going to be tipped away by Hugenroth. Looking for the break, no, instead Sater downfield. Hugenroth. Oh, trying to laser that hammer in there, and it bounced off the hands of Werner.
Oh, God, a chance to get a break against a team like this that early, and a straight-up drop prevents it, and I guess second chance for Margarita Mix now to hold.
Rogers to Pelican. Wanting to spread that towards the far sideline and overshoots Volchak. That's easier said than done.
We got Sam Murphy in the chat, which is strange, because Sam Murphy's on the sideline as well.
And I don't see him on his phone, so maybe just some sneaky tweeting. That swing into the center, overthrown under tight pressure from Margarita. So evidently some teething problems for both sides early in this contest. Volchak down the line to Pelican, just going to dish that one back off. There's the deep shot looking for Castillo. Bang on the money. With the talent, you knew they'd get it right eventually. And Castillo is the target for the game's first goal. 1-0 Margarita Mix lead.
Yeah, as you said, eventually the firepower is bound to unleash itself there. You see there's the lefty, strong lefty backhand out of Levka Volchak, and a easy reception for Castillo. She got the separation with her early cut speed, and there was no catching up by the time the disc arrived. Those two, I'd imagine this is one of the first times they've played together, to my knowledge. That said, both absolute blazing superstars. Levka's been doing it. She should have been a thought for Player of the Year, European Player of the Year last year. However, she was doing most of her damage playing for international clubs.
Yeah, she wasn't really playing in Europe, of course. Won gold at the World Club Championships in the women's division with Revolution from Medellin, Colombia. Was a standout in the World Games.
And then the American circuit playing with Brute Squad too. Levka was everywhere, and I think in many people's opinion has cemented herself as the strongest female matching player on the continent, or at least well into that argument.
I think that'd be true whatever continent.
Yeah.
So first time we're seeing the Swedes come out on offense here. Looking for the initiating pass, always a bit high and floaty. And there's going to be a hand in there to knock it away from Keo. Just pulls it out the sideline. And now Keo picks up. Trying to get that isolation towards the back. He finds Carmen Lagala. And they make it 2-0. And they can flip so quickly. The Italian Lagala with the score.
That's a great thrower-led score there. Lagala had a step, but I wasn't sure which direction she went. Rory Kyo set up a nice floater into the back of the end zone. Lagala had a step in that direction already, but he really just led her to the open space and made that one look easy for an Italian not coming from the metropolis of Bologna that's been producing so many standout players, but comes from the home of Paganello, comes from Rimini, and she has played with Shout. She was part of their WUCC campaign, but does most of her club days with Rimini.
Yeah, Tequila Boom Boom, the women's team from the wonderful coastal city of Rimini. Solklar, again, trying to find their way onto the scoreboard for the first time in this contest. Oh, a fumble in the end zone is not going to get it done. Berggren wants that one back. And how ruthless was that? Pelican to Anderson makes it 3-0. I mean, I'm not sure it really matters the opponent. If you're giving them the disc right on the end zone line, you're going to make life hard for yourself.
Yeah, you certainly are. I think talking to Solklar before the game, you know, I asked them what they knew about their opponents, and they said, well, we saw their roster.
We know enough.
And we know a lot of those names. And she made sure to let me know that they themselves were a development team 3 years ago. They went pretty well in the Swedish beach circuit, indoor circuit. They play a bit of outdoor. They got a bronze medal in the beach championships in their first year, and have kind of, you know, moved up in the Swedish circuit, but they knew they would have their hands full, but they also knew they got nothing to lose, and they're going to leave it all out on the field against this star-studded Margarita team.
Yeah, you could maybe see it as a little bit of a free hit in that respect when you're certainly not expected to get the result, as Murphy is called for a foul here. Because Smurf hopped on the mic earlier today.
I was going to say, isn't that a commentator out there playing?
A commentator with a Ranelagh tattoo.
I like that there's a handful of them. Steege as well. I think Aiden Kelly, but they got him right under where the logo goes on the short, so it's kind of get like double vision there.
4 Ranelaghs.
Ooh, yeah. And of course, one of Ranelagh's coaching staff, Sarah Melvin there. Who, you know, we can talk about her coaching with that open team, but wow, what a storied playing career she has as well, doing damage in all sorts of departments and divisions of play.
So accepted foul in the end. Freisenhausen brought the disc back in. The Swedes trying not to get too bogged down here. Nice inside break, sneaks past the hand of Keogh into Laban. Healy on the mark. Up against Kendrick. Kendrick looking for the around break, but just gets the wrong edge, sails into the sand. Castillo's off. Healy is always going to put that, but that time she put it too far and kind of tilts her head back in exasperation.
I love the way Castillo just looks to take advantage of every option there. As soon as the turnover, her defender was still looking back at the disc, and Castillo had 3 steps down towards the end zone. The shot missed, but boy, oh boy, was she made herself open.
I mean, Healy certainly has that deep element to her game, and she's more than happy to put it. But you don't need to have her sort of arm to be tempted into doing that, to be honest. Laban fakes the flick. They're coming around. Can he squeeze it down the sideline? He does, to Labelle. Looking into the center, Murphy read that one like a book. And Castillo into the end zone for Keogh to make it 4-0. I think just guilty of maybe telegraphing that option. And Smurf, and I think Keogh as well, were all over it.
Yeah. That was telegraphed, thrown right to Smurf, really. He didn't have to even move to get that D there. You see it. There's the throw. Castillo to Keogh. She could have waited, and you see Keogh going down to do a little breaststroke in the sand. Castillo had multiple options to throw that score to. She could have put it to Smurf 1 second later on an inside break, or let him come to the open side. He had a trailing defender as well. So Margarita making things very, very difficult now for their opposition. 4-0 lead, and they are pouring it on early.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really tough pull. We'll break it down a little bit more for you at the end of the point. Solklar back on offense now. Sater turns to find the reset. Anderson had already got in front. Pelicans putting some air underneath it, and Anderson has the legs to stretch it into the end zone for 5. They've just been so ruthless off the turn, have the Irish.
I mean, I can barely keep up putting statistics in here because this is just happening so quickly. Solklar are, coughing it up every time of asking, sometimes because of some heavy pressure, obviously, by this Margarita mix time. Sometimes just a little bit of falter in their offense by their own accord. And no matter which way it happens, Margarita Mixed is making them pay oh so quickly.
I mean, this is a really tough pool for both of these sides because as well as Margarita Mixed and Salclar, you have Disterix, who, no slouches, Foy from the Czech Republic, and just the French champions there, Manchot. Is that Penguins?
Manchot, I don't know. I always thought it meant hot hands, but maybe it doesn't. No, penguin is penguin. But their mascot is a penguin, so we'll have to get to the bottom of that one later, Benj. Maybe it's another word for a penguin. I don't know.
There's the deep shot from Ilves, and wow. How on earth did Murphy get that?
I have no answers to that question.
Here's a name we've barely called, Sebastian Rossi, the Italian, getting it back from Healy. He's looking at the end zone in front of him. He clearly wanted the scoring pass, although it wasn't there. Can't quite force it into Castillo. They've got Healy one-on-one in the end zone. Going to go backwards instead to Rossi. Rossi to Castillo. Castillo to Healy. 6-0. This Margarita mixed side has been nearly faultless. I say nearly because they did turn it over once.
Yeah, they did once, but otherwise this is easy does it. I mean, you say easy, but then you see the skill required for this D there by Sam Murphy. Geez, even going right hand on that was a risky biscuit. I noticed, well, Sam Murphy stayed in that end zone for the rest of the point. He didn't even come and offer reinforcements. He had full faith in his team that they were going to walk that one in. He stuck around in the opposing end zone, made sure there was no potential for a counterattack should things not go right.
I mean, that's just silly, really. I thought for sure that Holmgren was going to get the first point on the board for the Swedes, but not on this occasion. By the way, there's been plenty of back chat in the YouTube chats from some fellow Irish.
Right, they must be so excited to see all their Irish compatriots here competing and representing their beloved nation.
Here's the deep shot, trying to stretch the field. The disc gets the wrong edge on it, and I think even if it had come back in bounds, with all due respect to Hartmann, I feel like it was going to be the meat in a very oversized sandwich there.
Yeah, Pelican and Lagala had him fronted and backed up. That would have been one heck of a play if the edge would have worked. Speaking of heck of a play, how's Lagala's catch?
Not bad. Here's Rogers now, trying to take Margarita into half. Looking for the low one, centered to Melvin, a former Eurostar. As you mentioned, coach of that Ranelagh side that took home gold at EUCF last year. Feathered down the line to Melvin. 7-0, and that's half.
Halftime, that didn't take much time at all as far as the clock reads. We're 13 minutes into this game, and that's 7 scores on the board. None succumbed. We're going to take a very short halftime break here. We'll be back with second half action.
Don't go away. Welcome back to EBUCC, the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships, out here on the sands of Western France, Royan, the location. Mixed division action between Margarita Mixed of Ireland and Solklar from Sweden, and the Irish are rocking into this second half. 7-0 they lead.
7-0. Benji, I see you got some research done on Les Manchots. Should we talk about that after this point?
Downfield, Holmgren. Looking for options. Trying to see if they can isolate Barry on the far sideline, and they have. Nice little inside break there, getting them off the sideline to Kendrick. Kendrick, I think, wants the break. It's all very cluttered and congested in that handler set. Still's got to be rising now. They did complete the blade. Castillo thinks she got the stall out.
Just as I thought they had broken the run, looking back and seeing the head pat, we've got a stall out on the call. But they're discussing it a bit. Not sure if that one will stand up.
I did think that Castillo had certainly signalled the stall out before the disc was released. How fast the stall count was, I don't have ears there. I'm not privy to that information.
Some great drone views there after the electrical weather has been cleared. We're getting our drone in the sky, and speaking of eventuality, that score counts, and Solklar with a goal on the board, bench.
All they needed was to have the half-time break, get the heads reset, and they punch it in. The stall out retracted, and it gets Solklar finally on the board, 7-1. By the way, for those of you wondering about man's shot, yes,
that's the research Benji was doing.
It is Penguins. As we know, Steph, I am never wrong.
he is very frequently correct. I'm always surprised how frequently Benji is getting things right. Not because I expect less, but because he's punching above his weight with his trivial knowledge as more frequently than I could imagine.
So only the second time we're going to see Margarita come out on offense since the first point of the game, as there's the deep shot from Castile to Volchak. Is she going to get that one? No, the edge trails it out of bounds.
And as the comments suggest, this could be a game of two halves, Benji. 7-0 in the first half for Margarita Mix. 1-0 already in the second half, and a break chance coming up here for Solklar. This could be it.
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah, I'll take it.
What a trait. That one, oh, the spacing a little bit off there. Lagala gets a hand in there. And now trying to work that give-go with Pelican. Lagala, not too far outside the end zone. Will she reset to Rogers? No, squeezes that in to Volchak to make it 8-1. They got the opportunity, but yeah, maybe the offense a little bit muddled after the turn. Spacing not right, and it allowed Lagala to get that poach block in there.
Yeah, even Lagala spinning around with the disc there before the scoring throw had open options all over. Ferdia Rogers was an open dump for her, but I think she could hear the barking command of Walchuk from the end zone, indicating that she was widely open as well. And those, you can look off an open dump when you've got an open scoring cut instead.
There's been some sort of to-do amongst our camera crew, so I wonder if someone might have crashed the drone.
Well, we'll get to the bottom of that soon. For now, here comes Solklar, the big man, Ilves with the disc.
Swinging around the back, Labelle. Here's Freusenhausen with that long blonde ponytail. Labelle again, motioning where she wants the receivers to go. Oh, she pulled out the hammer. The hammer helixed, and it just helixed away from Ilves, who I don't think was the intended target, but still nearly made the catch work. That is a really difficult reception.
A difficult, but still a receiver error. 2 hands on that disc. No matter how much it helix, tough one to put down.
And Murphy sees the boulevard open up right in front of him, sits that backhand to space for Melvin to make it 9-1.
Goodness gracious, Sam Murphy, that's a beautiful, beautiful backhand floater into space there for Melvin. There's another look at it. Melvin could have put that back into first gear, slowed it down, built a house under it, and still got the reception. So this one seems like it could be over, bench.
At the moment, I think Margarita have not been have not necessarily needed to mix things up too much.
Yeah, I mean, they're putting their foot down here. Who knows? We'd love to see Solklar come back and make something of this, but I want to get into the chat a little bit of who we think who's starting to shine now. 3 games into the mixed division here, and we'll talk about that after this point.
Richard getting into a high stall downfield. Rogers with the bid. Foul called by Sater. Accepted there by Rogers, who I didn't realize also has a tattoo on his right ankle.
Is it a Ranelagh one?
No.
Ah.
Not unless the Ranelagh logo's changed significantly. Oh, just about zip that one into the center. Breaks to Retrait, who gets a Pelican in the back.
A one-time Isno, Pierre Rattray.
There's the shot to the end zone, the layout. Oh, it was full-blooded. And you've got to respect the commitment there from Berggren, but he couldn't quite get there, looking resplendent in his mustache. I'm sure will have drawn your attention.
I love the stash. It is the look right now. I mean, that and the soul patch, make it the Zappa.
Here's Castillo catching the underneath. Keogh on the far sideline, leading for Castillo. And Castillo now rips it into the end zone. Did Anderson see it in time? Maybe not quite. Couple more turnovers creeping in to the Margarita game. Here's Retrait. Here's Sater. Again, they're moving this quite nicely now. Feels like they picked up a bit of steam as the game ends. And that is a beautiful shot from Berggren. Couldn't get the layup, but that one he zinged in there to Jana Werner to make it 9-2. Lovely point. Because there was not a huge window, and just thought, why not try and fire it in there, and rewarded for that faith.
And they got to find ways now. That one zipped straight through a little bit of traffic, but not necessarily to force things, but if there is a semblance of an opportunity, they've got to start taking it. They can't just hesitate and look for open dumps and resets because they know that this defense is too tight against them. So when they get an upfield look, when they get a small window to shoot through, they might as well take that shot. They're in a nothing-to-lose situation. They kind of knew that from the beginning of the game. Now that it's kind of mounted against them, they can certainly see that, all right, let's take our shots here. Let's see if we can chip away at this lead and, maybe formulate some semblance of some motivation. Nice grab left-handed in the stands.
Yeah, the ball floats into the bleachers. I think Rossi wants it from the brick mark. Fakes the around backhand. Trying to isolate female players downfield. Lagala now leading Rossi to space. And Anderson just... That is economy of movement. Sometimes you don't even need to move. If you've already got the defender going one way, you can just stay put. And Anderson catches the score to make it 10-2.
That was 5 passes without a stall count on any of them. Maybe the brick mark. Maybe the initial,
very first
yes,
pass,
because it went to static.
When they got it in play, it was a lightning.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am, is how they put it from time to time, and that's how I'll put it that time because that was scintillating action from end to end from Margarita mixed.
Maybe a bit of a miscommunication off the pool there. Alexandrova. Slashing underneath Hugenroth, or wanted the dish off there. But Murphy just seemed to not even pick the pocket, just casually stick a hand in there. Volchak. Takio still not quite in the end zone yet, or maybe a miscommunication with Castillo, but she's able to get going again and pick up for the score, 11-2.
I'm not even sure there was a miscommunication there. I thought that was a well-weighted floaty inside-out backhand. We'll have another look to see. But I thought Kyo did a pretty good job with the give goes through Walzak and then looked upfield and just waited one in front. Here's another look.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was just a little bit of a stutter there from Castillo, whether she wondered when Kyo was going to reward the cut. It did come through in the end. Again, just getting the throw out early into space to where the defender's on the backside of it.
So 11-2, 2 to go if you're Margarita mixed, and a long road if you're Solklar.
Holmgren finds the underneath or has to lay out, but Kendrick does get a hand underneath it. I'm not sure the reset was quite where she wanted it, but Holmgren went for the blade, and that one was too bladey, and it rolls into the turf. Well, sand.
You get less of a roll in the sand. You know, it's impressive. Actually, yesterday we saw a disc in the French University Championship stick in and stand straight up in like a mound of sand. It was quite impressive.
It's always very entertaining when that happens. Here's Rogers going deep and really slashing from that far sideline, stretching across the field. Melvin lofts it in there. 12-2. Margarita mixed one away from the win.
Well, if chicken counting was ever on the table before games were over, this is one of those times. A 10-point lead and a game to 13 that's not quite finished yet is time to start counting chickens. Now it's a matter of who gets to play the final point as they assume it. Of course, if you're the Swedish team here now, if you're Solklar, you just want to extend this game. Don't let them win it that easy. It's not necessarily of trying to get a win, not necessarily of trying to chip your way back into it. Let's just prevent them from winning. Let's extend this game. Let's not make it that easy for them right now. And a nice hold would be the best way to slow them down.
As that one does just about land back in bounds. That's going to be tight coverage underneath. Was the layout that came through from Retre. Rossi. Now underneath to Lagala. Lagala to Murphy on the end zone line. Can he find a way through? Castillo to the back cone. 13-2. Good game. Well played.
Sam Murphy to Castillo for the final score of the game. A walkover for Margarita mixed. You got to put it out there. Solklar, they knew they had their hands full. They left what they could on the field, but were no match this time for the star-studded version of this Irish team. Margarita mixed that some, myself included, may expect to see them at the pointy end of this tournament.
Yeah, for Solklar, they've got one more pool game left, looking to get their first win on the board.
Yes, one game left for them. There's a few games left for everybody in this division. It's a tight division. I mean, we talked about Manchot, how that means that Benty was indeed right, how it means Penguins, but they're a very good team that has started this with 2 losses to Margarita mixed and to
Discteryx.
Yep. So and they've got their hands full. Like they get a swing to just advance in this tournament, and that is a solid-looking team. So I don't know where you go in this tournament. This is a daunting opponent, no matter how you slice it. We are very blessed to get. We had Sam Murphy in the box, and we've got another member of Margarita Mixed coming into the box for our next game here. We're going to go back into the open division. We've got Magic Disc Angers against Gambozinos from Portugal, and we have a surprise guest commentator who will be joining us that was just on that pitch.
So stay tuned for that in just about half an hour's time. But here, on behalf of all our ULTI.TV crew, if I put my teeth back in, and Stefan Pazzo sat and stats next to me, Benji Reese saying we will see you on the other side.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
July from Nottingham, England. The World Flying Disc Federation's World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. Live all-access coverage, including semis and finals, exclusively at ultiworld.com. We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.